Hello and welcome. We are here together with Brigitte Ploos. We love Brigitte. We're also clients of Brigitte. She's just joined Brain Aid Clinics as the hypnotherapist. Welcome, Brigitte.
Thank you, and I'm so grateful and happy to be part of the Brain Aid Clinic.
Wonderful. We're very, very lucky to have you. Now, not a lot of people realize, but hypnotherapy was actually the first form of psychotherapy. So all the psychiatrists that used to practice hypnotherapy as one of the first form of content-based suggestion, all those elements of there. So I think that it would be really great to kind of update everyone's understanding of hypnotherapy. So let's relate it to some things that we're passionate about at Brain Aid Clinics, which is neural science and neuroscience and neural anatomy and neurophysiology. So, how does hypnotherapy specifically target neural pathways involved in, say, focus and attention?
Hypnotherapy is actually can be a really effective approach for enhancing focus and attention by influencing specific neural pathways. So, firstly, during hypnosis, it's it's like a deep relaxed state. The patient enters a state of focused attention and heightened suggestibility where the critical faculty of the conscious mind is temporarily bypassed. And this allows direct communication with the subconscious mind, where many attention patterns are actually stored. When we are targeting focus and attention specifically to improve it, there is a few key points that I can actually mention. One is the default mode network regulation.
I was just going to bring that up. Yes, keep going. Yep.
So hypnosis actually helps quiet the default mode network, which is overactive in people with attention difficulties. And this network is responsible for mind wandering and self-referential thinking. And the second thing that I like to mention is that it's strengthening the frontal lobe activity. So hypnotic suggestions can enhance executive function in the frontal cortex, which governs attention control, working memory, and cognitive flexibility. And the third element that I like to mention is enhancing thalamic gating. The thalamus acts as a filter for sensory information, and hypnotherapy can improve this filtering process, helping patients focus on relevant stimuli while filtering out distractions.
I saw your interest in talking about this, and I went down a deep, dark research hole because I was like, oh, this is fascinating kind of thing. Oh. And, the research has been there for decades about how you can actually modulate it. It's that the technology to prove that this is the case is only just catching up now. So I think and if anyone's interested in this, there is a paper that we're going to publish on I guess, the literature review. At the very least, it's going to be a blog that you can read about the literature that actually supports exactly what Brigitte has said. And I like particularly the way that she's essentially said that, you're kind of bypassing the gatekeepers because they're showing that they did fMRIs and EEGs. And to demonstrate that the default mode network, this DMN, is actually quietened and that you can actually enhance or decrease silence certain areas of the brain using that hypnotic suggestion. So if anyone's like medical and they're just screaming at the microphone right now going, where's the research? You have to see the quality of the research that's coming out of some of the papers were out of Nature, for example. And I really applaud you for talking about it in such an accessible way, because when you read these papers, it's just like this EEG saying this, blah, 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 kind of thing. It just needs someone in order to bring it down to like what's the human experience, right? So if you look at someone who is stressed, right? So stress obviously occurs both in depression and anxiety and a whole bunch of other chronic conditions. So I think chronic pain was mentioned a number of times in those papers. I think one of them actually talked about how you could use hypnotherapy or trying to induce different states as part of dental procedures, for example, as a precursor to dental procedures. Smoking cessation, so something that is essentially unhooking, well, you're the expert here, unhooking a stress response to that. So, can you tell us a little bit about what you might do for a typical patient or a patient that's come to you and stress is one of the presenting concerns? How would you use hypnotherapy for that?
So, first of all, obviously, I have to know the root cause, what's going on, what's causing the stress. And so we can, because the direct suggestion is about suggestion to the root cause, eliminate, decrease as much as possible the root cause. And the first thing is obviously I'm going to ask questions to find out more because it's all personalized. And then I would use hypnotherapy with the induction and deepener just to keep that, bring that person down to a certain deep relaxation that I need. What I mentioned before, with the conscious mind would bypass. And then I would say that there is a direct route to the unconscious mind, so we can talk to that and then just release that sort of sensation to really relax the muscles and focus on the present, how you are feeling now.
Mm-hmm.
Really just regulate them and give direct suggestion as it's personalized, how to just stay in that deep relaxation and then bring them up at the end of the session, which the whole process could last for 45 minutes or an hour or even more. Depends on the patients and the ability as well. Some patient needs a little bit more time to bring them down to that level of relaxation that really relaxes them. But it's just a deep relaxation. It's you're in control. There is nothing I say to that person that against their free will. So it's all safe and natural.
Can you have hypnotherapy when you're really, really tired? Is it more effective if you fall asleep during it?
Because we need that sort of brain wave where just before you fall asleep, so you're in that deep relaxation, just right at the border before you would fall asleep. So when someone is actually falls asleep, which happens, I try to use some sort of different technique, maybe raise my voice or even touch that person just to bring them out of that way too deep relaxation, just to bring them back to that level that I need them to be so they're more perceptive to what I am saying.
We're a little off script here, but I know that you came to me as a recommendation for insomnia. So one of your specialties is actually helping people with sleep difficulties. How does that work, or what kind of patients do you like to see for insomnia?
So I like to see everyone who is willing to make the change and open to these kind of natural, a little bit different approach. It's a natural approach, complementary therapy. Anyone who's open and they're willing to do their part because it's something that we do together. It's not something I say to them or do to them. It's more like if they need to follow my instructions, obviously, if I tell them, okay, now relax your shoulders, they need to relax their shoulders. I cannot do them for them. They need to be okay with the number of sessions because it doesn't happen overnight. So it's really important that they work with me and they give me feedback and they do their work at night, or sometimes they need to listen to my recording before they fall asleep or when they wake up during the night, and or they might need to do a different approach. They might need to do a breathing exercise.
Mm.
And it's all individual. It's not one fits for all. It's really so anyone who's open and willing to do their part, it's a perfect patient for me, and they get the result.
I do love that. I think that it's been one of the biggest things that has changed the quality of my life recently. Better sleep and just more of it. So thank you. Another question on stress and focus. What is that relationship between stress and focus? Why do people do people abuse stress as a means of obtaining focus? And how can hypnotherapy address that connection.
Because when someone is in a stress mode, it's they're really in more like in a fight, their body in just in such a constant sensation, intense, that their focus is just so tunnel vision, and they don't actually, that idioms that you cannot see the tree. What is it that you
You
can
can't
see
see
the
the wood for the
forest?
trees. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're just, it's everything is just so narrowed down because they're in such in a fight and fight
Mm.
mode
Yeah.
in the body that you just can't really focus. And when you enter the relaxed, focused state of hypnosis,
Mhm.
your brain becomes more receptive to suggestions. This allows me to target the neural network that governs focus, like the frontal cortex. You should say your brain's CEO and the anterior cingulate
Yep.
cortex,
I saw
your
that
attention's
research. Yeah.
gatekeeper. Yeah.
Mm.
But
But
obviously, through repetitive sessions, we create lasting changes using your brain's natural neuroplasticity, the ability to form new connections and patterns.
I love that too, because what you're trying to teach them is that you can change your state. And by changing your state, you can actually change the structure or the function of the brain itself. So that you are not born with you're not stuck with the brain that you're born with. You're not stuck with the brain that you're born with. And that you can actually intervene. You can actually change that. And I mean, that's why we do the TMS as well, right? And we do the neurostimulation, because all of this is forms of neurostimulation. It's, I guess, different grades or different ways of receptivity. Some people respond to medications. In fact, we know
Mhm.
that two-thirds of people don't respond to, say, standard antidepressants, not to its complete effect. And so something like hypnotherapy may be a modular or mechanism component of your treatment that allows you, in order to access that part of your brain, that can help you find alleviation in your symptoms. So, Brigitte, thank you so much for joining us. And I'd love to ask you back when we can talk about things like chronic pain and some food suggestions as well, because we're big onto thought, movement, and food here at Brain Aid Clinics. And welcome on board.
Thank you, and then I'm happy to answer. There's so many good topics out there that many of us are actually experiencing that we can help them.
Lovely. Thanks so much.
Thank you.